Everybody, that was Helena by Konvent off their newest album, Call Down the Sun, which came out this Friday on Napalm Records. And joining us from Konvent are Heidi and Rikke. How are you doing today? Welcome to Pulse of the Maggots.
We're so good.
Yeah, we're great.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for agreeing to come on. Sorry, I'm sure Cori was talking to you about the time change and how fucked up our brains are right now because we're not used to everything. So, Cori and I have played you guys a couple of times. Really good shit, and we're excited to talk to you. So I'll just kick things off because I was reading an interview with you guys very recently where you said that quote, heavy and evil, unquote, are the sounds that you were going for from the very beginning of the band before, like, anything else. Like, all you wanted was heavy and evil. What drew you to that? Like, why go that way? What about that spoke to y'all?
I think when we came together as a band, we had a lot of different preferences when it came to metal and rock, and just music in general. But I think what we all had in common was that we all liked the sort of like heavy, evil sounding music. We all liked growl vocals as well. And I think that's what we started with. That was like the basics. Okay, let's come together around this and let's see what we can do. So we never decided to make Death Doom. It just sort of happened.
Rikke, anything to add to that?
No, that was perfect.
Hair flip done. There you go. All right, what
I have
else
a
you got,
follow-up, though.
everybody? Like, what other questions you got? Let's go.
I actually do have a follow-up, though.
Please.
So
Yes.
you gravitate towards the heavy and the evil sounding, and your music is definitely sinister, but it's also got a lot of somber and melancholy emotions, and it really kind of hits you in the soul in a way that death metal doesn't typically go for, because death metal, I mean, there's always a lot of violence, a lot of aggression into it, but your music is very soulful and emotive. How do you find that balance between the heavy and the evil and the soulful and emotional?
I don't know. I think it's always been, I don't know if easy is the right word to use, but we never felt like writing songs about, as you say, like violence or warfare or tearing people limb from limb and stuff like that. Like, that music's fine, but I think we just thought it would be more interesting to make songs about, I don't know, like mental aspects, and like the sort of bleak things that you can experience if I guess, like, if you're just a human being. I mean, everybody's been through lots of bad stuff. Like, everybody has trauma, and I think that kind of unites us all in kind of a sinister way. And I think we just always thought it was more interesting to go down that path with the lyrics.
Yeah, and I think just like as you say, that a lot of people experience trauma or experience bad things in their lives, and that can be both brutal and it can be beautiful at the same time in some ways, because you can maybe learn something about yourself from trauma and sort of work on it. And I think that plays out in the music as well. So when we start making riffs, Sarah and I, that's usually the kind of feeling we have when we make riffs, that it's like both brutal and beautiful in the same time. At least that's what we think, and that's what we hope everybody else thinks too. Yeah.
You preempted two different questions I have with that one sentence
Boom.
right there.
I stole your questions.
No, you didn't do it.
I didn't. Damn.
No, yeah.
You're always stealing mine. I want to steal one of yours at least.
Well, you always do, so it's fine. So I'm trying to figure out which way to go on there, because two different questions, but you kind of hit both of them. So I guess I'll go with this way. When you guys are writing, because you mentioned you're trying to figure everything out, what is the band style, I guess? Do you get in the room and just play riffs until something sticks? Does everybody kind of come in with their own input? Is it different for every song? I'm curious how this gets together, because I mean, I'm very, very interested and curious in the sound.
Of course. Well, it usually starts with either me or Sarah. We come up with riffs. She can make both guitar and bass riffs, and I can make both guitar and bass riffs. So it's kind of like who starts the song out and comes up with riffs, and then her and I meet up. And that's what we did during the pandemic. Her and I met up, and then we sort of tried to put it into a frame in GarageBand. And then we would send it to Rikke and Julie, and then they would sort of get an idea about what it was like. And then we would meet up in the rehearsal space. We've never been like a jamming type of band. We've tried that. It doesn't work. We just end up like sitting in the couch and talking for 8 hours instead of jamming. So if we don't have anything, so we need to have some sort of basis to come to work out of, like, yeah.
I think we have, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 songs that started out based on an idea for lyrics, and then the riffs were sort of developed on the basis of that idea. But otherwise, it's pretty much, we begin with the riff, then the drums, then some lyrics, and then it sort of overlaps until it's a finished song.
Interesting. And what would you say, because like between Call Down the Sun and Puritan Masochism, right, Konvent has a sound, right? You have a sound that is all your own, I feel like, and that like really conjures up the emotions that Cori was talking about, right? That oppressiveness, that melancholy, that beauty, that churning. What do you think is the key that you guys are kind of searching for whenever you're fiddling around with your riffs, and that really gives the bedrock to the Konvent sound?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure I can give you like a really good answer to it.
No, I don't think I don't think that Sarah and Heidi, when they're writing riffs, that they aim for a certain sound.
No.
I think we just basically try to aim for writing good riffs. And we're not afraid of like developing our sound. I think it would be great if our sound like developed and that people could hear that we're developing and not like being stuck in a certain frame because we think we have to sound like this. So yeah, I think the main goal is just to write down as many good riffs as Heidi and Sarah can conjure up.
Yeah. And also like conveying the emotions that we're feeling in the moment when we write the riffs. It's not that much about the sound, it's more about the feeling of it. And because we're trying to convey something that we're feeling inside, and it sounds so corny, like it's my emotions in the riffs, but it's like that's what it is. And we don't try to sound a certain way constantly, but we sort of always end up with the same sound outcome, if it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can, from at least on my end, I'm sure Cori has her opinion as well, but I mean, like listening to the 2 albums, there is a definite like progression and a development there, right? And there is, you are growing into your sound. It just, because of who you guys are as musicians, there is that common thread that like if you listen to the 2 albums, you can tell it's from the same band, but there definitely is that that development and that progression in this album, in my opinion. And Call Down the Sun, I can hear that.
Thank you. I'm happy you feel that way.
Cori,
I actually have a compositional question.
Ooh, big words.
Compositional, it's multisyllabic over here. No, John and I have been talking all throughout the past like year, calling it the year of the bass. And you guys really do actually bring the bass notes to the forefront in a way that not a lot of bands do. Was that conscious? Was that a way to make it, I don't know, more sinister? Because it makes it sound so much more, I don't even know the right word, but sinister is kind of the right word. So was that like a conscious effort to make it sound more thundering and more, I don't know.
Oppressive?
I don't know the right word. What is the right word, John?
Oppressive, rumbly,
Oppressive.
I guess.
That's the right word. That's the word I was thinking
so much
of.
better
There we
than
go.
rumbly. Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, it's definitely something that we like, the heaviness of the bass to be present. I think I can say that for everyone, but I think it's also a matter of us being only one guitarist in the band. And then I've always, like, me and Sarah, most of the time often play the same riff. We play it the same way. Sometimes she plays it with power chords and then I don't, but it's mostly the same riffs. So it's kind of like to support each other and then give the heavy layer and the more like distorted the guitar layer as well. And I think if you listen to the demo back from, like, was that, I don't know if that was in 2017 maybe we released that. Yeah. There was a lot of like bass present as well and a lot of like bass intros as well. And some of it, the bass doesn't sound very good, but that was 5 years ago, so I was still new. And I think I really wanted to develop that. I didn't do it so much on Puritan Masochism, but I felt like with Call Down the Sun, I really wanted to try and incorporate that a bit more. And like, for example, with the intro in Fata Morgana, that's the bass that does the intro there. And I really like that you can be able to play with both the guitars and bass. And it's like the bass doesn't just stay way in the background, that it's like a part of, as much a part of the band as all the other instruments. Yeah.
And also Heidi's amp is the size of an actual fridge.
We call it the fridge. It's like taller than I am.
It's bigger than you. Yeah, so I think it's just natural that, you know, the massive bass sound that we get in the rehearsal space, of course we're gonna bring that along on the albums and the recordings. Yeah.
Incredible. Cori, I'll let you keep going if you have anything in the hopper.
Oh, my next question is completely off topic. Is that okay?
That is totally fine.
All right. So I was looking and it looks like you guys are about to, kick off a tour next month. So super exciting. What are you most looking forward to being on the road and being on tour?
A lot of new things are going to happen. We're going to go to a lot of new countries. And I think just always trying to play in a new country is always like a benchmark somehow. And I guess also it's the first time we're going to try and sleep on a bus. That's going to be very interesting. It feels very rock and roll ish, but it's probably going to be really tough.
Avoid Brussels sprouts and other cruciferous vegetables, just as a tip.
Absolutely. And bring wet wipes.
Exactly.
No, but
All
we're
right.
really looking forward to it. I mean, it's after 2 years of lockdown and playing almost to none shows. It's crazy to think that we in 3 weeks are gonna go out and play, like, I think it's about 27 shows in total. And it's like, oh no, can we still do it? Like, do we know how to? That's what I'm nervous about. Like, like the nerves are gonna get me, and I'm gonna go on stage and I'm gonna be like, how do I do this? Like,
yeah.
But I mean, it's probably like riding a bike, because when you get on stage, it's like, okay, I don't know.
You just need to get over the first song, and then you remember, this is why I'm doing it.
Yes,
it's because it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, I have no doubt that as soon as you get out there, all of those nerves, everything is just going to melt away, and you guys are going to be in your music playing for the fans, and it's going to be like
and melting them away with just sheer brutality.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I feel like we've been planning this tour for so long. So now we just want to get out there and get on the road and do it.
Yes.
And not plan it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Speaking of brutality, do you mind if I step in, Cori?
No, go for it.
I was curious, with this being your second record, what was what do you think the biggest difference was between creating Call Down the Sun versus Puritan Masochism? Because you had your debut under your belt and kind of know how each other worked a little bit more, right? And you had some time to be able to sit with the music and everything like that. What do you think the biggest difference was between the two albums as far as creating?
I think we felt much more comfortable in the
Yeah.
studio, and we had sort of gotten an idea of what our producer Lasse, what he could do in the studio, and just the creative process with him. And we just found out on the first record that he has so many ideas because he is such a sound nerd. So he will always just come up with ideas for things, and some of them we use and some of them we don't. But it's just we just learned that okay, we're gonna feel really comfortable going down there, and like we kind of know what to expect. So I felt like we could I don't know, take more chances or try out more things than what we had expected on the first record. Yeah,
For sure. And maybe probably also a bit more frustration because we had just come out with our first album and just went on a short release tour, and then the whole world went into lockdown. And all the fun things you were going to do, you sort of like couldn't do anymore. And I'm not like a record making person. I like to go out and play shows and not stay at home and make music. So it was like all the fun things were taken away. And then it was like, okay, well, we just might as well make a new record then.
Yeah, but I feel like we started making the record once the minute we left the studio when we were recording the first one.
True.
Because we were just so inspired by
Yeah.
the process and stuff like that. But yeah, it had been a frustrating but it had been a frustrating time because we really, our expectations for this record for ourselves were just really, really high. And we had 5 months sort of taken away from us because our rehearsal space is owned by the municipality of Copenhagen, and they decided to shut down all their places for 5 months because of COVID. And you can write riffs at home and lyrics at home, but at some point you just need to add the drums. And like, I don't have a drum kit in my apartment. None of the other ones do as well. So yeah, it was just really frustrating. You were just walking around at home like a tiger in a cage.
Yeah, I remember those days. Don't want to go back, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah, no, let's been there, done that. Didn't like the concept.
Yeah,
Was not a fan.
F+
No.
would be my grade.
Yeah,
I do not recommend.
no, absolutely not.
Cori, do you have anything else?
I have my super important question, but before I ask that, do you have anything else?
No, I think I'm all set, ready to go.
All right. So, at least one of you already knows my super important question because you were watching the other interview. So I'll just go ahead and dive right on in. What are your favorite dinosaurs?
I think I'm just a basic T-Rex girl.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's just big and it's cool and it's scary. And I should have worn my Jurassic Park t-shirt that I have in my drawer. And to make it extra nerdy, it's in Japanese.
Fuck yeah.
Well, when you guys tour the US, I'll wear my Jurassic Park shirt.
No, we
make it a thing.
established this
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
the last band. You're wearing the T-Rex costume to whatever
Oh yes,
shows
the
you have to go
inflatable
to.
T-Rex costume. I will be that guy in the pit in the freaking T-Rex costume.
Yay! I can't wait. Well, you're gonna have to book us at the Notfest. I'm sure you have the authority to do that.
Oh yeah, totally. That's my call right there. That's what
I have the words of the people, right? But whether they're listening to us, who knows?
Who knows?
We'll put it a good word.
Let's put it out there.
We
into
will.
the
We'll do it.
universe.
Corey
Yeah.
has been trying to get her booking company off the ground. It's a running joke that
my
we have.
imaginary booking company.
It's a running joke that every time we hear a band, it's like, these bands would go together. Let's get someone on the tour. But there's no one to do it except, well, not me, but Corey.
Uh,
Heidi, what about you?
I would say probably the least scary one. Like the sweetest one that doesn't eat all the other animals, and it's just like a peaceful one, and I don't know what they're called, and I'm so sorry.
I thought
Like
you said
the
the
long neck
Swedish
one,
one.
because those ones are pretty peaceful and chill.
The big ones with the really long neck, and they only
Mm-hmm.
eat vegetables or like
Yeah,
leaves and
Diplodocus.
stuff. And they're like a giant, but they're like the nicest.
They're like this.
Aw.
Yeah.
And then the T-Rex is gonna come in and
No,
No.
Aw.
back off, Heidi.
Excellent.
Amazing. Everybody loves this, Cori. The last thing that I have for y'all is just a question I usually ask everybody when we're about ready to sign off. To the people that are watching now, watching in the future, listening to you now or in the future, whether they've heard you or not, what do you want people to take away from Call Down the Sun?
I hope that they listen to it and they have a great time and they like the heavy, evil brutality, but maybe they will also find some solace in it, in all of the madness, and maybe especially with the end with the song Harena.
So good.
That's what I hope.
Yeah,
And then of course that everybody
sorry.
goes and buy the record and help us hype it up so we can get some more fans.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then don't be scared by the Doom label
No,
that's on our music. If you're into heavier, faster stuff, give it a shot anyway. Maybe you like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been playing Pipe Dreams for everybody that I can because I was like, here is the entry point for this band. There, listen to this, and then just go listen to the record. So that's what I've been doing. Heidi, Rikke,
Same.
thank you so much for joining us today. The record is fantastic. Mazza has the link for it in the chat. Go pick it up. Again, it's called Call Down the Sun. It came out this past Friday, March 11th, via Napalm Records. And hey, if you're in Europe or overseas or wherever you all, go see them live. Do it, everybody. You have to. They've been working on this for so long. Get out and support the bands, y'all.
Yes, please.
Mhm.
Yes,
Thank you so much for
we
doing
want
this
to see you.
with us.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It's our pleasure, y'all. Once again, congratulations on the album. Be safe on tour.
you.
Have so much fun. And yeah, go make lots of new fans and cave in a lot of skulls for me, please.
We
Yes.
will.
Absolutely,
For
will
sure.
do.
Yeah. Hopefully see you soon in the US.
Yes.
Most definitely. I will be
Yes.
there in my T-Rex suit.
Yay.
Or just dressed
Yeah.
normally, one of the two.
No, I'll just be there, but you'll know. I'll be really loud. All right. Yo, thank you so much. You guys can just close out of the browser whenever you are, or whenever
will.
you're done. But again, thank you for sharing your time with us. And again, congrats on the album. And we'll see you and talk to you soon.